Been a long time since I've done a video here at Stoltz Farm, several months. Today we're going to talk about what has been going on the farm for winter 2023. Alright, so welcome back to another video. Jordan here, of course, with the Stoltz Jordan YouTube channel, and coming from Stoltz Farm Incorporated here. It has been several months since I did a video. I believe my last video was kind of the end of harvest and the beginning of winter-ish, and it's been a long winter. Now it is, as you can see, because this is out, March 2023. It's a new year, and a lot has happened over this fall and winter, which I'll get into a little bit. Late March, and we're still having a lot of snow. North Dakota snow not melting anytime soon. Capital of North Dakota, Bismarck, said that they're only a few inches away from the all-time state record for snow, and this winter will probably break it because it doesn't seem like it's going to melt anytime soon. We have a little bit of meltage on the road, and the snow is shrinking a little bit with the spring sun and weather in the 20s and low 30s, but just keeps on snowing. Every few days it seems like we get a lot of wind, a little bit of snow, and just kind of repeats that process. It's been somewhat of a nightmare keeping the roads clear, getting to town from the farm, and dealing with all of this snow. Not really necessarily seeing the end in sight, unfortunately. I'm sure it's coming, so we're all trying to stay positive. But as you can see, as I drove down the road here, just to kind of get a little glimpse at this corner with some fields, nothing's ready to plant in the near future. I would imagine that once all of this snow melts, it will be quite wet as well, depending on how fast it melts. But for the whole winter, about like 100 inches of snow. So that's a lot, and way more than we typically get, actually, even though we are a pretty cold state. So we have a lot of melting to do before we can get in the field, obviously. Decided to pick up the camera anyways today and get started. We're gonna do a few things around the yard, and this video might span over a couple days. I'll give you guys some random updates throughout the day and throughout the video. So stay tuned. We're gonna start today with repairing a old moisture sensor from one of our combines. So one of the reasons I haven't really done much recording or anything this winter is that most of the work I've been doing has been here in the shop, and you know, I can only make shop work videos so entertaining, doing little odds and ends and things like that. So did some projects that I can get into another time. One of them right here is what we're gonna work on here today. And this is an old moisture sensor that we took out of the 9760 combine. And this was an old one. We replaced it with one that works. This one needs a new circuit board. We're gonna replace that circuit board today and get this one working so we have a spare. Apparently they're known to go out every couple years or few years in that combine, so it's good to have a spare on hand, and replacing a circuit board and learning how to do that's a lot cheaper than buying a new moisture sensor. Apparently UPS hasn't come yet, and the UPS has it out for delivery, that circuit board for the moisture sensor. So I'm gonna go pick up the dogs. I think they're chewing on some deer parts or something over by the house, and then we're gonna go show you the first equipment update from this winter that you might not be aware of. How you doing, Pipes? All right, so here's the first update from Snowmageddon and our equipment here at Stoltz Farm. That is the 8870 doing work with the snowplow in front of it. We've put on several hours of snow pushing with the 8870 since it came back to the farm. No problem so far, really. At least not with oil leaking. If you have been subscribed to the channel and watched some previous videos, you know we had a big problem with it throwing oil and getting all over the windows and everything. We had it fixed a couple times, kept coming back, kept having the same problem. You know, the shop always says to put it under some work, give it some work to do, and put some heavy load on it. And I'd say pushing this much snow around with these big of piles and that big of a blade is pretty heavy work for the 8870. So if you factor in the new tractor that we got and the new engine in the 8870, all the man hours put into that for the engine rebuild, it would make my dad nauseous for me to put that out in the world, how much money it ended up costing. But here at the tail end of it, hopefully, and we got a tractor with a new engine, and we have another tractor as kind of a backup for spring work. So if spring ever comes, we should be in a pretty good place with both tractors able to go, as well as the 9520. The 8870 came back like mid-winter, and that was like with the final parts of the engine that needed to be rebuilt. This New Holland tractor is actually our prime snow mover. Kind of regret, because of all the snow that we got, that I didn't film snow removal, and moving some of the snow, I guess it just kind of got old, and getting out with the camera didn't seem tempting. But I do regret it, because it is pretty cool seeing this crazy snowblower in action. I'm sure you know, we keep living here in North Dakota, we'll have more winters with more snow, so I'll be sure to get some later. But you can see that pile behind the tractor. That's the kind of stuff we have to deal with melting before we can really do anything this spring. Did a little bit of grain hauling as well this winter. I didn't get too much of that in, but my dad and brother did a lot of hauling some grain. Usually by the time I get off my first job at sundown in the winter, it was already dark out, so didn't do too much hauling, but we did get some into town. So all in all, a lot of stuff's been going on. 8870's back, doing some odd jobs, moving some grain, and now just kind of waiting for snow to melt. And we're waiting for the UPS guy. So when he shows up, we will get to work on that moisture sensor and keep on going. Stay tuned.
Say goodbye, Carolina Road. Well, I remember in my hometown, I met a pretty girl there. Well, I remember in my hometown when I met a pretty girl there, and her little white dress at the county fair. She took my hand, we made some plans, and our love did grow. She took my hand, we made some plans, and our love did grow. But as sure as those seasons change, her heart grew cold. So goodbye, Carolina Rose.
All right, everybody, and back here in the home office, about to edit this video that you're watching right now. This should be up Tuesday, March 28, and hopefully farm videos will be back for good, and we don't need to take more breaks for winter. I put a picture up on Instagram today of March 25 last year versus this year, and huge difference. Last year it was no snow, we were loading trucks, walking around with hoodies and no hats. Today is 20 degrees and 6 feet of snow. Lots of snow, with maybe even more coming. I'll keep you guys updated on the planting. It might be very, very late this year, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video with some updates from the farm and an update on the tractor and where our field work stands as of now, or lack of field work. And stay tuned for more. Thank you.